In case you don't believe we're on the farm with a Bucky, with a Hilux Legend, just check it out and you can see it really is. Here's the Legend right here, look at it. Being of course on the dirt road, so it's looking a little bit dusty, but it's on the farm and we're going to do some good filming now and check it all out. This is a Landini tractor. It's called a Legend 160. Check it out. I mean, how's the size of this wheel? It's actually taller than me. It's big. It's a big tractor. But we didn't come here on this thing. Sorry. When you're on the road, even if it's the dirt road, even if you're doing rough driving, how about this Legend rather? I know which one I want on the road. Maybe on the farm, for farm work, or to pull lesser buckies along if they get stuck when they're 4x4ing. You may need that Legend 160. But this Legend over here is the one that'll get you long distance and can certainly work around the farm as well. Launched only a month ago in South Africa, and in actual fact this is the very same vehicle you can watch me driving on the video at the launch event that was held at Gerotek a month ago. Toyota Hilux. You don't need to say too much about the Hilux. They don't call it a Legend 50 anymore, the 50th anniversary now, just call it the Legend, because it is so legendary. I don't have to say too much. This is the top of the range model. You can see of course the LED headlights, the daytime running lights, all features like that it's got. They've made the front end much more aggressive. American Bucky style coming in these days. You've got lovely squared off wheel arches over here, cladding of course, plenty of cladding just to make sure that it's safe. 18-inch wheels with big tires that, let me tell you, handle a dirt road like an absolute dream. I found that out just now. You've got a very substantial running board necessary for this kind of usage. You've of course got the rear doors as well that give you fair space in the back of the cab. For a double cab Bucky, really good. I'm not going to show you too much of that, you've seen it all before. You come over here, you've got a big sports bar as they call it these days, over there over on the back. And then, this is an extra on the top models. And if you have this extra, they call it the RS. Sorry, it's not RS for Rally Sport or something like that. It's RS for roller shutter. And check this out, you press a button and the shutter opens. Totally amazing as far as I'm concerned, and gives you your buck over there. You've got a big step on the rear bumper, and I use it nice and easily to climb over as usual. Of course you can open the tailgate as well, you may not drop it too hard, and there you go. You've got your rear buck over here. They say up to a ton, but it's a little bit difficult because you do lose a bit of space for the roller shutters function over there. But that's something, of course, for the extra security, the dust protection, the waterproofing that you get from the roller shutter. I think it could well be worth it. And note, you even get lights in the back with a roller shutter. We're up here in the mountains, on the farm where Gush Valley water comes from. And the spring is right behind me where it actually comes from. It is pure spring water. And we brought the Bucky up here. This has become my Bucky off-road test ground now. And yes, I tested the Ranger here recently as well. And it's such an interesting comparison between the two. But we'll get to that just now. Because what Toyota have done with this latest generation on the Hilux is they've upped the engine to 150 kilowatts, 500 newton meters of torque. So a lot more power. But more important, as far as I'm concerned, they've put balancing shafts in the engine on this top model. It's only on the top 4x4 top spec version automatic that you get it, but it makes us one of the quietest running diesel Buckies I've come across. It is so smooth. They've upgraded the rear suspension. It makes a difference as well for smoothness on road. It's features like that that they've done to make the Hilux even more of a compelling buy than it's ever been before. We'll check it on the road. We're going to do drone footage. We're going to do some off-roading. You'll see it all. Check it out. today, but who cares, because I think if the farmers get some rain today, they'll be seriously happy as well. But let me tell you, this Hilux Legend may be dirty and full of dust after we finished with it, but I think it's done the job, and I hope you'll agree with me. And just coming out a day like this, what a beautiful day in Africa. Is there anything more you could ever say? And we're on one of the farm roads. It's not a full-on 4x4 trail, but you know, let's just play with the features on the car anyway. So I'm going to go to the knob over here. You give one turn, that puts you into 4 high, but just for the hell of it, we're going into 4 low, because why shouldn't we? And you can hear it's beeping as it engages 4 low, and I think the problem is I needed to be in neutral to do it. There we go. Now it is in 4 low. Okay, and why don't we just put the hill descent control on as well? And there you go. And now we're going to stick it into drive. You felt that, and let's just see. Note feet off completely. No feet on any pedals. And it just rolls along at its speed, and that's the whole point of it now, is that obviously it's meant to be very, very slow, because this is how you handle. Now, obviously it could handle much, much tougher conditions than this in this mode, but I think you can see, and I'm trying almost deliberately to steer into some little ruts and holes to actually show you exactly how smoothly it can handle a nice little bit of 4x4. Of course, the final part of the test now is the load. Half a ton on the back. We're going to hit dirt road, then open road, and take this back home to Josie to see exactly how the bucky handles with half a ton on the back. This is now the standard Motor Matters load. Moving inside, of course, the first thing I always do is look at the instrumentation and the fuel consumption. We've done a good open road trip now. We've done a lot of town commuting, and we've done a little bit of 4x4ing or off-roading. And we're showing 9.4 litres per 100. Interestingly enough, if you look at the top there, Toyota say you should be doing 10 or better. So at least I've bettered that. So I'm quite happy with that. You look around, they've certainly added a lot of features to this vehicle and to the top spec vehicle. Your cruise control, for example, is now an active cruise control. In other words, it can set to the speed of the car in front of you and will brake automatically if you're in cruise control and the car slows down, etc. So that's really a fantastic feature. You'll see over here, speaker, another speaker over there, and you come across over here and you'll see the legend JBL. It's a very upgraded infotainment stroke sound system, which is again a very important feature. It's got active braking as well, I must mention that to you. It's obviously got all the features on the steering wheel, and now if we come across to the center here, you have a look, of course, it's the full infotainment system. You have a look, of course, you've got your menu over there, you've got full navigation. I'm just going to give you 1 or 2 examples and show you 1 or 2 little features. You've got climate control, air conditioning. I can tell you it's very effective. It really does work well. The buttons over here for downhill descent control and for diff lock, all over there. You've even got over here eco mode and power mode, and I can tell you I've only run it in eco mode so far. Here we come to, of course, the slightly old-fashioned type gear shift gate, but it certainly works very well, and it's linked to that 6-speed automatic transmission that Toyota use that is very smooth, very effective, and functions very well in all aspects and in all circumstances. It doesn't matter where you are, what you're doing, etc. It certainly does work, and that's what counts, doesn't it? As long as it does work. Another interesting feature that Toyota brought in on this upgrade was electronically they have reduced the idle speed down to 650 revs. What that means is, particularly in off-roading, that you can crawl at such low revs, it's unbelievable. And really, you saw my launch video where we did the off-roading at Gerotek, and you'll see exactly what it's capable of in those circumstances. Of course, because it's top spec, you've got full leather trim throughout, you've got white contrast stitching in the leather even, you've got some gloss over here, and you've got this sort of almost chrome, I don't know what to quite call it, carbon effect across the dash over here. So it's a luxury vehicle as well as everything else, and that's what makes it quite amazing, is it can work hard, it can play hard, and it can be your luxury transport on top. Well, what's it going to cost you? That's the end of the story, isn't it, for this particular model? Without that roller shutter, you're looking at approximately 770,000 Rand. You add 85,000 Rand for that roller shutter feature, which sounds like a lot of money, but it's a unique system, being automated, etc., and it certainly does add a lot to it. It also gives you the extra sports bar, etc. So there are one or two little changes when you get that with it. But overall, it certainly is competitive, and it certainly does the job. On dirt, maybe my only little complaint I'm going to tell you I did find was the rear end is a tiny bit lighter when you're unladen on a dirt road. And that was in two-wheel drive high mode. So maybe I should have just clicked it into 4 high. That was me, but it just was the one thing I did find. You get a 6 service 90,000 kilometer service plan with this vehicle as well. That's included in the price. Overall, it's a Hilux. You know it is. It's a legend, and it proves itself over and over again. For Motor Matters, I'm Eleanor, and I'll see you next time.